Alright. I think the audio is going through good. Jesus Christ. It's already 5 a.m. God, if I was goddamn Freddy Fazbear's, it'd be like, I want it done. I'm not here to joke around. Who the fuck am I kidding, A lot has transpired in the past few months, and I feel like I've just kind of suppressed it instead of talking about it, instead of saying something about it. I know my audience is not always on my side, nor do I think they and I'm trying not to be mean. I'm trying not to put this in a mean way. I am putting this in the nicest way I can, but I understand that like a lot of viewers for content don't like looking, into the personal side of things. They just want to enjoy the content and nothing more. And that's very understandable. I just, how do I put this in a way that makes sense? I understand if nobody trusts me, if nobody gets it. I understand if nothing I say makes sense. I don't know where to begin. I'm streaming at like 5 in the morning in my fucking PJs. Because, I've just been unable to sleep. I've been too amped, I guess. It doesn't help that I drink, shit with caffeine in it. Or I drink, fucking Prime. I am an unironic Prime fan. I know Logan Paul ain't really a trustworthy guy, but, I think I'm ready to talk about this in a very serious light. And I think I'm ready to talk about this in a way that makes, that doesn't make me look like a bad person. I'm not gonna make myself this perfect, pretty little princess, because I know that's not what I am. At the end of the day, I am a person, and every person is flawed. I've learned from my mistakes. Shit has happened. So many things have happened. So many things have transpired. So, the first thing I want to say is that, my last proper upload, was 5 months ago. That is not an exaggeration. Checking this right now, my last proper video, called In Regards to My Health and the Future of This Channel. 5 months ago. 2 months ago, I posted a filler video just to tell people that I'm alive. That's basically it. It's a filler video. And a little over a week ago now, I uploaded the public preview for Five Nights at Freddy's, the unofficial series, which is, my live action FNAF interpretation, whatnot. It's a glorified teaser. I'm just gonna fucking outright and say it. It is a glorified teaser. And is by technicality also filler, because I was unable to get the actual episode done by the deadline because of so many things that have happened and whatnot. So, I just want to say, I am sorry for being so quiet. I am so sorry for leaving you guys in the dark. I am so fucking sorry for not saying anything sooner. It's just been so hard to just think about all that's happened. I just want to move on and fucking do my own shit, But that's the thing. I can't move on from this. This is something that that won't stop affecting me until, someone tries to end it. So, for context, I talked about this a couple months back. I did a stream, a little bit, a while ago. I'm gonna be very blunt. How do I put this? I was with Nate,
if you don't know, Nate has been a longtime friend at this point. I met him all the way back in very early 2022, and we've stopped being friends now, but I'm going to elaborate upon that very soon. You'll find out why. So, I was with Nate while we were still friends at this point. We were just in this park area in my hometown. Things were completely fine. Everything was going normal. There was a couple of other friends of his just hanging around and whatever. So, I thought everything was going to be chill. I saw this shady group of kids. They were acting really weird. When I say kids, they're just people within my friend group, but, I mean, at this point, they have the mentality of a fucking, like, brainlet 12-year-old that, like, fucking browses 4chan. But, the simplest way to put it is that these kids were giving us these kind of dirty looks and laughing at us and just kind of making very rude comments. They would say straight up slurs. I can't say it because of YouTube censors. They called me the F slur. They called me the N-word hard R. I'm not even black, and I find that offensive. You know, if you're a white person and, you know, you're gonna say the N-word hard R, you're just a fuck up. You're just stupid. I'm just gonna fucking say it. You are a fucking racist. And that's the end of it. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care what your stance on certain things are. That's just racist to do. You have committed a racist act, basically. But, not only were they calling me slurs and whatnot, I was just being called, like, a lot of swears in general. I was called retarded multiple times. I don't know if that's considered a slur. I know some people consider it that. I've just heard that word so many times throughout my life that I've just indoctrinated it into my vocabulary, and I've just made it this part of, you know, just a thing that I say. But they called me that, and, you know, a whole slew of other things I can't even think of. Eventually, you know, I just kept talking. Like, every time they kept making comments, I would always make a comment back, and it wouldn't even be a mean comment. I was just being silly and going along with it in hopes that they would stop. But no. Eventually, it escalated. Some kid slapped me across the face, and that's kind of when I had it. I promptly just had, like, a mental breakdown. I was in this point of, like, this state of mind where, like, I was completely shut out from the world. I didn't think straight. I didn't think about what I was doing. I didn't, you know, I acted stupid. But you can't blame me, you know? I have a whole slew of mental issues. I have ADHD, I'm on the autism spectrum, I have depression, and all this other fucking shit. Sounds like something somebody would make up for online clout. You know, they say they have a bajillion different mental disorders because, you know, they whatever. But, there's even the possibility that I have schizophrenia and that I have forms of, I've been properly diagnosed with a form of PTSD. So, you know, I have all these moments, you know, where I just snap. I don't mean to, and I have a lot more control over it now than I did back then, but all that built up anger came out at that point, and at that point, you know, Nate tried to settle me down. He tried to, like, wrestle me to stop, to get everything under control, and to hopefully get the kids to back off. But I understand what he was trying to do now, but at the time, it just seemed like he was against me. There is a video out there of this happening. You can see him attempting to physically restrain me by borderline choking me. And that is just not the way to go about it. The situation just kept fucking escalating. I was in this state of mind where I wasn't thinking clearly, and I was just like, you know, fucking hit anything that moves. I didn't really hurt him. He definitely felt something a little bit after a while, but I know I didn't hurt him too much. Nor was I trying to, nor did I didn't want to. I might have tried to in that moment, but that's not what I wanted. Eventually, someone, a bystander, called the police. It was just this random woman, kind of looked like a stereotypical Karen, ironically enough, but this is the one time a Karen actually was the saving grace, believe it or not. So, after all that happened, I almost ended up going to jail. I almost ended up, specifically, when the police were called, they did not bother to go to any of the other kids that were there. Not even Nate, who already had a criminal record, who's still, and which is still growing, need I remind you, and I will go in depth about it later. You know, after that, Nate just stopped talking to me. He told me, I said, hey, apologize for the way you acted. You escalated it more. I wanted to, because the thing is, the reason why I stayed around Nate, even around those shady kids, instead of walking away, I wanted to make sure he was safe. I wanted to make sure he would not get himself in trouble, because he always ends up finding a way to do so. And at that point, I just kind of I don't know how to put it, but I just, in that moment I snapped, and I wasn't in control. I told him that. I made it obvious, and I said, I'm not going to apologize for something I was unable to control. Now, I will say I'm sorry for the things I said in that moment, because that did make me look more stupid than I already did. And I'm sorry for not walking away when I should have, but again, I wasn't thinking too clearly. So a lot of it is very excusable, and I hate to say that. I hate to say that some of my stupid actions are defendable, but this is that case where it is. So we're I tried to talk it out with him. He fucking blocks me, says that I owe him an apology, even though he was the one who kept things escalating, and he chose to hang around shady people willingly. Not only that, after that, when the cops got involved, they fucking just, again, they didn't question any of the kids. They didn't do anything fucking ethical at all. Instead, they immediately went to me, blamed me, asked if I had ever thought about harming myself and other people. I said I briefly entertained the idea briefly, not even too seriously, about hurting myself, and they just immediately fucking took me out to the fucking police car. I was in the back of a goddamn police car, in handcuffs, driven to a fucking hospital, where I was locked in until fucking 4 in the goddamn morning. I was treated like fucking scum of the earth. I was dehumanized. I was completely just destroyed mentally. Instead of helping me, they just asked me more questions and tried to sign me up for therapy that ultimately, at the end of the day, never made a fucking difference. I was, again, like I said, completely dehumanized for hours, from the beginning of sundown all the way until 4 in the goddamn morning. When I finally got out of there, they didn't even give me anything for the scars I got from it. They didn't give me any type of pain treatment. I had a massive headache. They didn't give me any painkillers. They just gave me a couple band-aids, which barely fit over the open fucking wounds on me. They weren't really open wounds, but they were pretty bad scuffs. If you know what road burn is, or if you've ever scraped your kneecap on the curb as a kid, if you're ever on your bike or scooter, whatever you had when you were younger, and ended up scraping your knees or your legs on the pavement as you fall off, it was like that. on both of my kneecaps. It wasn't too bad. It was manageable, and all I needed were a couple of band-aids for it. But, like, still, they gave me no proper treatment. They gave me nothing to clean it off with. Instead, they just fucking added me to records, gave me a basic checkup, and said, he's fine. Just fucking whatever. I need to remind you as well, the inside of my mouth was bleeding from that. That's not an exaggeration. The inside of my mouth was perpetually bleeding because I got hit in the fucking face so hard. Like, half of my face had a red mark on it and was numb for weeks after that. And I could taste blood for weeks. And the doctor's like, oh, just get some water, swish it around, and it'll be fine. Like, no, like, the inside of my mouth was swollen. I could barely talk. Half of my face was numb. I could barely speak. I could barely form words properly. Hell, I tried, because I don't know if you guys know this, I like to sing when I'm alone. Helps me to cool off and allows me to put my emotion into this kind of performance for a crowd that doesn't exist. And, I don't like to actually sing publicly because I know that I'm still pretty young, and, don't get me wrong, there are kids younger than me that can sing better. It's just like, I'm gonna wait till I'm older, till I develop more of a proper singing voice, then I can do that. I do mainly just like, fucking auto-tune myself to shit and back. But, yeah. I'm dwelling on this too much, aren't I? When I finally got home, I felt like shit again. Mouth fucked up for weeks. Face fucked up for weeks. And again, after that, I still feel completely dehumanized. I was demotivated from content. When I made the video where I'm like, hi, and whatnot, I lied. I held back, and not repressed. I don't think that's the right word. I suppressed. I think that's the term. I suppressed my emotions. And I held back. And don't get me wrong, it's one thing to hold back, but it's like another thing to force your emotions deeper into you and just not let anything out. When it's okay to do so. I just held back and I just said, hey, I'm doing better. And meanwhile, I wasn't. Only recently have I recovered from the situation. Something else as well. Well, how do I put this? God. There was another time where a similar group of kids, saw me. It wasn't all the same kids, but a couple of them were the same. They're like, hey, didn't you get beat up by this guy last week? Or not last week, but like a while back. And I was like, no, please don't talk to me. And, it was all fine and dandy. One of the kids, he's like this short, fat kid with like brown, curly hair. I don't really remember what his name is. He's also like overly conservative and political. He's one of those people that's like, let's go Brandon, fucking doesn't have a life, doesn't have a job or anything, just this low-life loser that picks on people when he feels like it's necessary. He's like a stereotypical 80s school bully. Now, I forgot to even mention this to you guys. Before that fight even happened, he threatened to R-word me. Specifically that word that rhymes with grape, grape without the G. Spell it out in your head. If you know, and if you don't, then you're probably too young for this channel. But yeah, he threatened to R-word me. And that other night when I saw him in a more public, open space with more people, he threatened to do it again in front of other people, need I remind you. And I had friends nearby within the vicinity that might have even heard that. But then after that, I was out one night just blowing off steam. I like to go on walks at night around town, or I used to. it wasn't the same group of kids. It was a completely different group. It was a smaller group. They did know the people who beat me up. However, they weren't really caring of the situation. They merely laughed it off and saw it as just a funny incident. Nate was there, and I wanted to talk to him. I'm like, hey, do you have the time to talk? He completely ignores me, rides off on his bike. Summer passes a bit more. I thought everything was okay and that he just wasn't ready to talk to me yet. I see him again with my friend Michelle, or Hazel. I keep calling them her. I know they're non-binary. I just keep forgetting that when I'm talking, like, in person and whatnot. And you know, my stupid ass just forgets pronouns easily. I just remember people by specific characteristics, so, you know, I just have an ADHD brain. I'm not trying to intentionally misgender you or anything. Hell, I've basically misgendered my own TV. Well, no, not my TV. I misgendered a toaster, technically. I called a toaster a TV. So you know. But, yeah. I was with Michelle. There was, like, this, you know, we had this, like, carnival in town. It's just one of the staples for tourists and whatnot. Nothing too crazy. And, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. A couple of rides, stuff like that. But we were there for, in the lines for one of the rides with my friend Gavin. Me and Gavin are still friends. There's no bad blood. Whatnot. Nate showed up completely fucking wasted. He was high out of his mind. He was stoned like I've never seen before. He's come to my house high before, but that's because his family is very neglectful and, you know, are stoners and end up, you know, leaving around edibles that are basically almost exactly like the original thing without the weed, whatnot, without that devil's lettuce. He was just like he was literally drinking like a whole ass bottle of beer right in front of us, like pure fucking alcohol and shit like that. It was disgusting. Look, when you're older, you can do whatever you want with your life. You can be a stoner, you know? You can, you know, have a little bit of that devil's lettuce. I don't care. But for you to do it as a minor, and for you to drink underage, that's illegal. That is illegal. And he said he was on all sorts of other drugs. He said he has shrooms and things like that. So, you know, I guess he thinks he's fucking Mario. I don't know. But yeah, he was vaping and drinking right in front of us throughout the entire line until it was time to actually get on the ride, and then he ditches the bottle, shoves it in his bag, same with the vape, which seemed to have been spiked with something, not just like nicotine, but it had this like other shit in it, maybe just weed 2.0, I don't fucking know. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, as much as I pretend to be a stoner, and I make jokes about doing crack, and I make jokes about, you know, smoking weed, I don't actually do those things. I am not an expert on them. I only know a lot about certain drugs because of like documentaries and stuff. I love watching like true crime and whatnot. I'm not a fucking druggie, and I'm not going to. I might do weed just as something for, you know, my bucket list. I might do it a couple times, and that's it. I'm not saying if you yourself do it is wrong. Just don't do it as a minor. I'm a minor saying this, so I mean, yeah. But anyways, that was the last time I saw Nate ever trying to interact with me. I told, you know, we talked. Once he sobered up enough after that ride, I talked and I was like, hey, look, no bad blood, right? We like fucking shook on it and everything. And then there was tonight. Now, I know as of the time I'm streaming this, or, you know, if you're watching the replay, it's 6 a.m. as of the time making this. So it's not anything. This is not really nighttime anymore. You know, this was a Five Nights at Freddy's game. I would have already been on to the next night by now. But in all seriousness, this past night was horrible. I saw Nate. I went to go up to talk to him, and he started just running around, just hiding and avoiding me like I was like the fucking plague. He started just acting like he was scared of me, like I was something to be scared of. I'm gonna be very blunt and upfront. If you're scared of me, then you might as well be scared of, like, I don't know, like little goddamn kittens that don't even have functioning eyeballs yet because they just got popped out the womb. You know what I mean? Like, I am not capable of hurting people as much as I've made myself to seem like I am. I want you guys to understand that when I make myself look all badass and like a cool protagonist character, I'm not strong physically in real life. Dude, I struggle bringing the goddamn groceries in to, when I help my mom bring groceries in and shit. So, I am malnourished. I'm very skinny. I was a borderline anorexic for a period in my life. I'm a very troubled motherfucker. And only now have I started actually gaining proper weight. And only now do I look semi-normal. I still look skinny, but that's mainly because of my height. So I am a pretty normal weight now. But yeah. I don't know it's just like, I don't understand why Nate treated me like I was something horrible. Eventually, it kind of escalated to this point where this group of kids, they knew, again, it's a completely other group of kids, separate from all the other ones I've talked about. They seemed chill with me, most of them, at least. They tried to instigate me to fight Nate. I told them to just leave me alone and just let me sort things out myself. I just wanted to talk to him. Eventually, I got him to stop running off and acting like a dingus out in public. And I was like, look, I just want to talk. What's the matter? I put my hand on his shoulder, and he, flinches, and he says, and I quote, "Don't fucking touch me or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." And I'm just asking, why? Why don't you want to talk? What's the problem? I'm trying to get I'm trying to say basically almost anything I can to provoke some sort of response. And I don't usually do that, but when you leave me in the dark like that, I'm going to fucking badger you on and nag you on until some type of response is provoked. I need something to work with. The group of kids that was trying to instigate the fight was just following me the whole time as I was trying to talk. And eventually I was like, I wasn't going to fight, obviously, but, it just got, it just kept getting fucking worse, man. Eventually Nate called this group of kids, and they, the kids that were trying to start the fight were pushing me around and fucking throwing things at me, throwing, fucking pizza. Some kid had a box of pizza, and he just started fucking throwing slices at me that were, half-eaten. So, I never fucking, and I'm gonna be very blunt, I never expected to come home, to have my mother drive me home, and, go up to my bathroom and fucking wipe fucking sauce, fucking pizza sauce off my face. That was the most degrading thing I felt this entire night. In all seriousness, I do think that was just one of the shittiest things somebody could do. I mean, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve any of this. People are like, oh, I don't care about the beef you had. You can put it behind you if you want, but I just want to see some fights. I don't care. I don't want beef. I don't want to instigate anything. I just wanted to talk, and I just wanted to try and settle things down. But once Nate called these two kids, and they were the two kids from that first initial fight all those months ago. You know, the fat kid who fucking threatened to R-word me, and the other kid who almost fucking choked me out, were there. They kept getting close to me, and fucking, like, you know, borderline spitting in my face, pushing me around, until I eventually, I gave in. I didn't give in to their shit. I gave in to what I knew was right. And I called my mom to pick me up. She picked me up. All those kids backed the fuck off because they knew I was calling somebody. They didn't know if I was calling the cops or not. I went to this nearby gas station that was literally a walk away. Like a 20-second walk away. And I just sat around the parking lot. The group of kids that tried to instigate a fight and tried to be like, haha, isn't this so funny to beef with someone? I told them, finally, go fuck yourself. I'm not doing this bullshit, and if you talk to me again, I'm going to fucking walk away. Now shut up. And that's what they did. They walked away. And I was like, hey, that's great. You know? That's great. Eventually, my mom picked me up. You know, I went home, like I said, cleared the pizza sauce off my face. On the drive home and when I got home, I had a mental breakdown. I'm not going to go in depth about it because I just don't want to think about it right now. But yeah, to put it very lightly, I don't think I'm ready to just move on. I now with Nate very much out of the picture because he's hanging around gangs and, you know, getting himself into things he shouldn't be doing as a minor, I've chosen to move on from him. And Gavin, he's still a good friend. He was Nate's friend for a while, but even he's cut ties with Nate after what's happened. He himself has said in his own words, Nate's gone off the deep end. It's like he's off the perk. And I agree. The worst part about all of this now is that there's people spreading rumors about me. The kid who threatened to R-word me said that I touched him inappropriately, when he was the one who was touching me inappropriately. I was being, and you know, not just him, but those other kids that tried to start fights, they tried to, you know, they kept touching me and you know, kept trying to touch me without my consent. I don't care if it was inappropriately or not. I don't care how you're touching me. If you're touching me without my consent in a way that I do not like, then don't fucking touch me. That is illegal. If someone does not consent to you touching them in any way, and you're still touching them no matter what way you're doing, that is illegal. But then there's Nate, who claimed that I allegedly blinded him in his left eye. He's not blind, by the way. He has a perfectly fine left eye, and he's clearly faking it. He's also faked having schizophrenia. I'm the person who actually is, you know, has possible signs of being a schizophrenic. So, you know, and that's just fucking fun. Just what do I know? You know, I really don't want to be mad in this video. I know this video is already long enough as is. And I know that I've probably wasted your guys' time a lot. And I know the viewer retention's gonna fucking plummet. I just look, I've just had it to hear, and I want to tell the truth. Nate even went on to my other friends. He went to Michelle, who was working her. She works as a cashier. Sorry, they work as a cashier at my local grocery store, which was also nearby the park where all this happened. Nate basically ran over there and nagged her on, saying that it's all my fault. Nate said to my face that it's all my fault, and fucking tried to guilt trip me into fucking hurting myself, and leaving him alone, and hurt myself and shit. You tried to guilt trip me into all that, and I'm just done, man. I'm gonna fucking upright and say it. I'm done. Thankfully, Michelle is on my side. Thankfully, Gavin is on my side. And we're all still together. And we're all still doing stuff together. Gavin no longer wants to do acting things. Michelle no longer wants to really be a full part of this channel. She's still, like, assisting in, like, the artistic things. For the most part. That's just because I'm a shitty artist. Unless you consider me a performance artist. I don't know. I'm just the mere entertainer and the editor. I'm the entertainer and the editor, and that's all I am. It's kind of everyone else that brings things together. So yeah, as you can tell, all of this is clearly going to affect the way things go from now on. My YouTube channel is, it's up in the air of what I'm going to do with it. I really don't want to quit, but I've had so many things happen, especially, with my FNAF series. I've had people within the FNAF community go out of their way to harass me, verbally over the series I've created, and it's just a preview that's out right now, and I've been harassed verbally, and, it's just disgusting. The way people have talked to me. It is disgusting. I don't know what else to say. If I do, I don't want to quit, but if I do ever, just so I don't leave you guys in the dark, if things continue, I'm not continuing with my channel's lore. I'm done. That is just a burden that's going to stay on this channel, but I'm never going to continue it. I'm going to make a somewhat conclusion and move on with my life regarding that. I'm still planning on working on Five Nights at Freddy's, the unofficial series, because as much as I've talked shit about the FNAF community, I do want to continue that. I really do. I've been given almost nothing but positive support, and the positive really does outweigh the negative. It's just that the negative speaks the loudest a lot. It's only a total of a few people that have really harassed me over the series. I've been receiving mostly positive feedback. I've had nothing but wonderful people go out of their way to, show me their interest in collaborating. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's done that. And thank you to just everybody who's been leaving positive comments as of late, because you have no idea how much that's saved me, I hope I'm not getting, like, all sappy and whatnot, but, like, I have genuinely... Like, I've genuinely been, like, on the borderline of... I wouldn't say offing myself. I haven't really been thinking about it since the first fight happened. But I've been in this state where I've been thinking of doing things that, I'm, gonna probably regret doing. And a lot of the positive comments have been making me think that I do have things to live for, and I don't have just, nothing left. I have a whole bunch of people that enjoy the stuff I create, that like me for who I am. And as much as I've been dealt with shit. Hell, my own family. I don't know if you guys knew this. My cousin Ava, she's no longer in my videos because she's like straight up blocked me on everything and has just straight up shit talked me to my face and has been an absolute asshole to me. My entire family has been shitty to me even. And even then, I still know I have something going for myself. You know? I know that even if things are going horrible right now, I still have great people I'm working with. Gavin is still my friend. Michelle's still my friend. They're still helping me with YouTube stuff, even if it's not with, like, acting stuff anymore. I don't just want to throw all this away. I don't want to throw this channel away. It's just been so hard to create content for the people, you know, after all that's happened. So, TLDR, I don't want to quit YouTube, but I've been in this, like, this gray area where I don't want to keep going either. But I know that there are things I want to continue. It's just that things have been really hard because of all the things I have been put through as of late. And that's what I want people to understand. I want people to understand that I have been dehumanized. I have been treated like the scum of the earth. I have been called slurs on a daily basis. I can't leave my own home because of all this. I plan on moving to a different town sometime soon. I just don't know when. I believe next summer is when we are moving, but that's just fucking theory. Am I right? I just before I go, I just want to say I really do appreciate you guys. A lot of the things that you have said, a lot of the people who have expressed their love, their interest, and their support in their own ways, it means the world to me and has helped me so much through these trying times. Seriously, I really can't thank you enough, and I really wish I could repay you. It's just that right now, again, I'm very demotivated to make content. I promise I'll get back into things, hopefully this September. I just need time to readjust to things. I need time to just let things work themselves out. Earlier, after all that shit's happened this past night, I do want to say things are seemingly going great now. The police are getting involved, and they know of Nate's criminal record, and they know about the kids he's hung around. They're finally getting themselves involved and are actually doing something about it. Unlike the last time when the first fight happened, they even, I even told them about all the threats of R-wording and whatnot, and the slurs that they've said and whatnot. And because my mom actually has connections with some of the police officers here within my town, there's been a lot more, it seems like there's been a lot more interest in the case, and there's, an actual, stuff going on. Things are moving forward, and I feel like I feel like some point soon I can move on. But, yeah, for the time being, I just need time to just keep to myself. I've been basically avoiding people. But, yeah, I'm just going to keep to myself. I'm just going to probably, and I don't want to be a stereotypical depressed person, but I'm going to probably stay cooped up, locked in my house a lot, just avoiding people so things can die down, and, let the cops do their thing about the situation. If I ever do go out, it's probably going to be with a friend, mainly Michelle, because, they actually have body strength compared to me. I mean, they can literally pick me up and throw me. They've done that, so I know they can do that. But yeah, leaving this video off on a positive note. So yeah, just one more time, I really appreciate you guys so much. I cannot thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. And I can't thank my mom for just what she's done to help with the situation, to actually intervene and be a part of my life, be an actual parent. And, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for taking the time to listen to my incohesive ramblings. I just haven't... Sorry, I'm just tearing up right now. I just don't know how else to repay you guys, So, yeah. Goodbye for now, everybody. I have some things planned. Just for my mental health, just fun things I have planned. Not things that I'm gonna force myself to do. Just fun things that I want to share with you guys. So, yeah. Bye for now, everybody. And have a good day, have a good night, have a good, whatever time it is, just have a good one, And remember, just don't hurt yourself. Self-harm is a genuine situation, and I've thought about it many times. It's not worth it. It's not worth giving up on your hopes and dreams just because you're demotivated now, and I keep forgetting that myself. So don't feel bad if you don't feel that way. Things change with time. You just gotta let things play out. You gotta just sit on the sidelines and just be yourself for a bit. Keep to yourself. And do things that make you happy. Making content is one of the things that makes me happy, and that's why I refuse to give up on it, even after all this. So, yeah. I'm gonna hit the hay. I haven't slept all night. I've been really amped up, like I said, and only now am I really starting to calm down. Now that I've gotten all this out of my system, now that I've let you guys know, I feel like a big weight has been lifted off of me. So, yeah. Have a good night, everybody. And, just remember,